Hello everyone, I'm Ruth Saunders. I'm a product specialist here at EMSI, and today we'll be taking a walkthrough of the Alumni Outcomes Research Portal. I'll begin with a brief overview of what Alumni Outcomes is so you can better understand where this data is coming from. First, the project begins with your institution assembling data on your previous graduates, like name and contact information, as well as information on the awards they received at your school. That file is shared securely with our EMSI team, and we can then match it against our profile database, which contains over 100 million professional profiles, collected from various web sources where individuals publicly post their information. To count as a matched record, a profile must have the same name as your student and either contact info like phone or email, or award info like graduation year or program name. We then return the matched profiles with employment information back to your institution in Excel files for row-by-row analysis, as well as 1 year of access to a user-friendly research portal, and that's what we'll be looking at today. Keep in mind that all the data you'll see in your portal is the most recent job information for the individuals that we were able to match for your project. For today's video, we'll be looking at an example data set from a university in Illinois. So the two reports we have here are School Summary and Program Snapshot. As the names would suggest, one is designed for school-wide analysis and the other for program-specific analysis. We're going to begin with Program Snapshot. So here is where we're going to set up our parameters for the report. We can filter by program, 2-digit SIP, or 6-digit SIP, depending on how broad or narrow we want to go. We can also browse and select from our list of programs here. Remember that in your portal, this will be your institution's programs. I'm just going to choose Business Administration. Next, we'll select the degree level within that program that we'd like to focus on. Again, you have this browse window to see all the options available. This next filter will default on, called Limit to Profiles with Jobs that started after graduation. Since we're looking at the most recent job on our matched profiles, this setting will only include in our selection those records whose most recent job started at least 1 year after graduation. What this does is weed out any individuals who have not updated their profile since graduation and may still have student, for example, as their most recent job. So best practice would be to leave that checked. This other filter we have under Settings, called Limit to Highest Award Level per Student, basically distinguishes between award count and head count. When your institution sends us your alumni, we ask for 1 row per award per student. Let's take an example. Say Jane Doe, who graduated with a bachelor's degree in English and a master's degree in business administration, will have 2 rows, 1 for each award. Jane's information is in the English program report as well as the business administration report. So this checkbox will automatically default off because if it were on, it would remove Jane's record from our English report results and only leave her in the bucket of her highest award, in this case business administration. So essentially, it may exclude a group of alumni from the program results if they also obtained a higher degree in another program. The reason we have this filter is to be able to see school-wide results by headcount and not have any duplicates, but we'll get to that shortly in our second report. Next, we can filter for graduates or non-graduates. Default settings will turn the graduate filter on and the non-graduate filter off. The portal is designed to view results of your graduates, but some schools like to have the option of comparing the two. I will note that sending non-grad records is optional, so your institution may or may not have chosen to include these. Here we have graduation years for further filtering. It's helpful to keep in mind that the alumni employment data comes from online profiles, so narrowing this filter to the most recent 1 or 2 years will yield sparse results since many graduates don't update their profiles right away, maybe waiting until they get that job that they want to advertise. Similarly, narrowing your filter to the oldest years, in this case maybe 53 to 70, may also yield sparse results since these grads are less likely to have any online presence. The past 20 to 25 years typically yield the strongest match rates. You are able to view your institution's program match rates in your Alumni Outcomes Summary Excel file. For region here, I'll note that the EMSI profiles which we match to your student records are all US based, so any matched results will be limited to US residents with online profiles. but we can narrow down results further if you would like to focus on alumni in a particular state or MSA, county, or city. Now we've set all our parameters, so I'm going to go ahead and press run. All right, here is our report, which features several different data points, but I'll just note quickly that you do have the option here to export the entire report to Word and PDF for easy sharing. Also, for each individual graphic, we have a More Options button in the top right-hand corner, which allows you to either download the individual image itself or remove the image from your report altogether. Okay, let's go ahead and walk through to see what we've got. So again, as we are viewing the results, keep in mind the employment information is based off of the most recent job listed on their online profile for the individuals from this program that we were able to match. That's what we're looking at here. For this sample program, we were able to match 478 profiles who received a Bachelor's of Science in Business Administration from this institution. Here we see that 91% of those matched records are employed in their field of study. To determine this, we take the student's zip code, which we received from your institution, and map it to the SOC code or occupation code of the individual's most recent job, which is based on their title. A SIP to SOC mapping can be found in the Alumni Outcomes Analysis or Data Excel files. You'll also notice these question tags we have, which if you hover over them, will offer some extra information on these numbers. Next, we have 85% of the matched records residing in your service region, which was defined by your institution at the start of the project, typically the surrounding counties or the state of your institution. Again, this is based off of the location stated in the individual's online profile. Next here, we have wage estimates for these matched records. One important note is that these numbers are based on government wage data. They are not the actual earnings of your alumni, since most people don't post their income on their profiles. Potential wage. Let's take an example from this group. Let's say Jane Doe's profile states that she is a management analyst in Lake County, Illinois. Using government sources, we can say that the average salary of a management analyst in Lake County is $70K. $70K is Jane Doe's potential wage. So every individual matched record will have their own potential wage. So what we're seeing with this 76.8K is the average of all 478 individual potential wages, each based on the graduate's occupation and county. The estimated wage is slightly different. For Jane, we will use government sources to find the median wage, so 50th percentile wage for a management analyst in Lake County, Illinois. Then using the Mincer function, we will factor in Jane's age and highest degree level, which we received from your institution. So the 47K refers to the average of all 478 estimated wages. We like to think of the potential wage as how good of a job they're working in, and the estimated wage as what we think they could be making at this point in time. Next, we have a Sankey diagram to illustrate the basic program to occupation pathway, blue designating in-field occupations and red being out-of-field. We have our selected program here on the left and the top 25 profile occupations on the right. Then all occupations after the top 25 are grouped together here under all other occupations, which will be blue if the majority of those occupations are in-field. And hovering over the program will give you a profile count. Again, this is based on our SIP to SOC mapping, which I mentioned earlier. Here we have a list of top occupations, which are based on the individual's job title. Next, we have a list of those job titles, as well as top companies. One note on both of these lists is that these are normalized MZ titles and companies, so we clean up and group items together for easier analysis. However, you are able to view those raw titles and companies as they were listed in the profile within your Alumni Outcomes Excel files. Here we have a bubble chart of the top skills listed in the profiles, followed by a list version. And next we have a US map of where these alumni are. And again, our profile data is US based, so we will only have the most recent location information if they are working in the US. Finally, we have a bar graph for the last 15 years they graduated. and that is the program snapshot. I will note that you are only able to view the results from one program at a time within this report. Now there are a couple ways to get back. The first is by hitting this Back to Setup button here on the top right. And here you can apply different filters and run a new report. But if you want to get back to the home page, you can click on the EMSI icon at the top left here. Now let's jump into School Summary. This report is designed to look at the data from a school-wide perspective. It's the same data, but it allows you to see results in larger groupings like multiple programs. I will note a couple different filters we have here in the filter menu, and that is academic unit, which institutions typically use for their different colleges and schools, and academic subunit, which typically designates departments. If I hit browse here, we can see those different options. Both of these fields will be based on the data your school sent to begin the project. Another difference is we again have this setting filter for limit to highest level award per student, but unlike the program snapshot, we automatically set this on so we can get those headcount numbers rather than award count. Last job type will also default on again. These last four filters are unique to the school summary, and that would be job title, occupation with ONET, 5-digit SOC, and company, if you want to get even more granular with your report. As far as layout of the report goes, it is almost identical to the program snapshot with a few differences. We have the same ability to export to Word or PDF here, as well as the option to export or remove individual graphics, just like the program snapshot. First, you'll notice that our match count is much higher since we are looking at all the data rather than one program. The Sankey diagram will also look much more complicated since at the moment we're looking at all programs, not just one. Another difference is below some of these lists, you'll see this More button, which allows us to expand results to the top 50. Program Snapshot only shows the top 10. In addition to our location information, we also provide a list of top states. Finally, here at the bottom, we have the schools which individuals reported that they attended on their profiles. And that is the school summary. I'll also point out this question mark down here, which will have some additional links, but the one I want to highlight is this knowledge base. We have various support materials here like report walkthroughs, FAQs, methodology notes. If you don't see what you're looking for, please feel free to send in your question, which you can do right here, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. And that's it. Thanks for walking through the Alumni Outcomes Research Portal with me, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.